Welcome back. School is just around the corner for most students, while some kids are already back in the classroom. So what can parents do to help kids adjust to reality when they hit the books? And Dolin of Educational Connections joins us today with ways parents can help motivate their kids. And good to see you.
Thank you, Kathy. You too.
All right. So kids trying to squeeze out the last bit of summer. So how do you recharge them to go back and study hard and do well in school?
Well, usually this time of year, although some kids have gone back to school, a lot of them are still sitting around watching SpongeBob.
Right.
You know, they're still enjoying those last few weeks of summer. And really the key is at this point to get them into a routine, and that means to really put parameters around TV time. That's the first thing. So I usually recommend to parents that you have a specific time for TV. Usually after dinner is better than throughout the day. And you want to have a replacement activity for TV. So oftentimes showing kids some really great interactive websites are terrific. You know, there's a great website called Science Bob, which is a great replacement for SpongeBob. And there kids can find all kinds of really neat experiments that they can do in their home. For example, they can make a hovercraft out of an old CD. And that's really the type of hands-on type of thing you want to get your child involved with at this time of year.
And say that you're still struggling, the kids are still wanting to watch that TV, play on, you know, their iPad or whatever, but not the educational stuff, the games. How do you, keep them motivated and say, this is what you need to do to kind of be doing well in the next few weeks?
Well, you really want to put limits on it. You know, the American Society of Pediatrics really recommends about an hour and a half to 2 hours of screen time for young kids per day. So it really shouldn't be more than that. You know, one easy thing you can do with your iPad, if your child has access to it, is to put all the educational apps on one page and put all of your things on another page. That way you can really have checks and balances. You can see what your child is doing. So any type of parameter that a parent can develop right now will really make that school transition much easier come fall.
And what about those kids who have started school already and they're struggling a bit after, a couple months away from the classroom? How do you get them to kind of, learn the basics again and get into the routine?
You know, it's always a good idea to talk to the teacher. I think parents often let that go too long, and sometimes parents have this idea that, oh, it's just an adjustment period. I'll wait till the first report card comes out. But really, when you see your child struggling from the beginning, it's a good idea to just shoot the teacher an email and just tell her what you've noticed. And you don't want to be attacking in any way, like you should do this. But if you use the two words, I've noticed, you can say, I've noticed that my child is really having a hard time with math at home. Do you have any suggestions? That way the teacher is aware of what's going on, and it really puts you on the same page, so you're working as a team together.
And at what point do you say maybe we should consider a tutor to help out?
You know, when you've tried to help your child and you know that it's more than a bad day, it's just not a traditional glitch in the road, but it's something bigger, and your child doesn't really want to work with you, which is typical of a lot of kids, that's when it's time to bring in a tutor. A tutor is a neutral third party who can really explain things in a different way. And so often kids are much more willing to listen to a tutor than to their mom and dad.
And what about a reward system? Do you think that's a good idea? Is there a safe way to do this and get results at the same time?
You know, rewards are kind of tricky. In this area, it's so competitive here, Kathy. You know, right?
Oh yeah, I grew up around here. I know what you're talking about.
You know what it's like. And so often I think parents are quick to reward kids. Study for that spelling test and I'll bring you for an ice cream tonight. Get straight A's and I'll take you to GameStop and buy you some video games. But the research shows that rewards, especially the daily type of rewards, study hard and I'll get you an ice cream, it does work short term, but it doesn't work long term. So when next time you want your child to study for that spelling test, their reaction is probably going to be, well, what's in it for me? And that's why rewards typically aren't good on a regular basis. It's much better, instead of a reward, to have a routine, to have the expectation that you always study for spelling tests and you get privileges. That's when once you study, you can have access to the TV or your video games.
I want to talk a little bit about the older kids, because I don't know if a reward system will necessarily work for them. And you were talking about how competitive it is around here with AP exams, the SATs, the ACTs. How do you get them ready, especially, I guess, if you're a junior? That's a critical year for them to get ready.
Yes, it's a crazy year, that junior year, that's for sure. And I think that kids really naturally want to do well. They want to study, but sometimes they feel overwhelmed. And they can even feel more pressure when parents are putting in, really a lot of emphasis on grades. What'd you get on that science test? How are you doing in math? What's your GPA? Those send the message to kids that this is all about grades, and it's really not. It's far better to put the emphasis on the process. If you have a process in place, if your child has dedicated time to do homework, a quiet place, that type of thing, they're more likely to get the product, which is grades. So as parents, we really want to step back from asking about grades all the time and put the emphasis in another way by recognizing effort.
Great words of wisdom. Thank you very much for those tips and advice. Hopefully parents and students out there got inspired. Ann Dolin with Educational Connections. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathy.